I've not used the word a decisive week, determining week, and all. An interesting week for us, I would say. Brentford home was difficult. They were the last team to defeat us. They had 2 years, 2.5 years ago. Inter home, Inter is always difficult. The new kit is superb actually. I just really love the new kit. What a kit! The font on the kit. I mean, this kit is just amazing. This new kit is very very good. It's superb. This new kit is very good. City kick it off. We are kicking off from left to right, and it's a rock solid defense. And I mean, for the Arsenal game, the question is: do you start Lewis or do you start Walker? That is the question. I mean, does Pep Guardiola want to play for a draw or a win? I think the answer to that question will actually tell you: do you pick Lewis or do you pick Walker? It's as simple as that for me. Kevin De Bruyne are drifting into that left hand side, almost that left back position is actually very interesting. Look at Erling Haaland pressing there, Savio, Bernardo Silva. I mean, this press will be damn difficult for Inter to come out of. Look at it, is kick the ball out. I mean, just imagine Savio and Bernardo Silva pressing you on that right hand side. You'll be torn to shreds. There is no space for Inter to play on the right hand side. I'm sorry. The way, I mean, Bernardo and Savio are just pressing monsters. It's impressive how fast and quickly that Savino has become Pep's, almost an undroppable player. You would say against Brentford, he was just superb. Against Brentford, that final shot was just not going in. It's happened sometimes, but generally in all other actions, he was one of the brightest sparks in terms of pressing the players and stuff. Savino. In other words, Savino is just coming and he was sort of leading the press in Bernardo's absence against Brentford, and that just tells you how good Savino already he is. One-on-one Savino, and the way he takes the decisions, whether to go forward or whether to pass it back, that's just amazing. Gotham is here. Gotham says, hey there, citizens. Hey Gotham, how you doing? By the way, Gotham, there's actually some news on Jamal Musiala's contract situation. It seems Bayern Munich, one of the outlet reliable, I think it's Bild or something that is close to Bayern, has put out a statement that Bayern are finding it very difficult to progress talks with Jamal Musiala. The first attempt at the contract extension has failed. Xavier on the ball. That's a very good tackle. That's an excellent tackle there. That's a superb tackle. But City get the ball back. Gautam, just we are back in at the UCL nights. It's just special, Gautam, the UCL nights and stuff. But then this format is a bit tougher, actually. I think. I don't know what you think, but I feel this format is actually a bit more tougher than the group stage one. You need to be very good, and also I think the higher you finish, I think the easier the round of 16 draw gets. City passing very quickly. Rodri, Savin, Manuel Akanji to Ruben Diaz. So Jamal Musiala has been touted as a target for City. Possible target now that his contract talks have failed and stuff. That's a very good tackle. Jack Grealish. Gautam says, yep, heard it. It's interesting to see what happens next season. Erling Haaland! Ah, almost Erling Haaland almost scored their last six tackle by the Inter defender. City are just right on the front foot, but referee calls it back for a foul. Look at Rodri, how aggressive he is. Give this man a bit of rest, and Rodri is so aggressive. Rodri is absolutely very aggressive. The defender got there before Erling Haaland. But an interesting name has actually popped up as a replacement for KDB, and it's Xavi Simons. There are three names doing the rounds right now: Florian Wirtz, That's a very good challenge by Ruben Diaz. Savino comes deep and gets the ball. He goes one on one with the inter defender Savino to Bernardo Silva. They already seem to have developed a great understanding. Savino and Bernardo Silva. Savino and KDB were not on the same page against Brentford, but Savino and Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva on the ball. Look at it, Savino. Savino there one on one. Take on your man. Savio, I think we'll need to call him Savio. Savino just seems that he's far too for distant player or something. Savio, and it feels is one of our own. Rico Lewis in the space. Bernardo Silva. Rico Lewis. For a moment the ball almost was reaching Rico Lewis. Inter on the counter attack. It's Ruben Diaz one on one with Terimi, I think, who has replaced Lautaro Martinez in the Inter squad. Inter on the counter attack. And goes to Ederson. Good counter attack from Inter. Gautam says Javi looks the real deal. Emo really like the profile. Exactly, Gautam. I mean, three names: Florian Wirtz, Florian Wirtz, Jamal Musiala, and Javi Simmons. For me, Florian Wirtz is exactly similar in profile to Phil Foden. And if you bring in Florian Wirtz, for me, it will almost be the problem of Messi and Dybala. That's a great run by KDB, but the Inter defender gets there. And I think James McAtee also kind of fits in that profile of Florian Wirtz for me. I think his and Oscar Bob is also kind of there. So I mean Florian Wirtz for me. We have too many kind of the same kind of profile of players like Florian Wirtz. Jamal Musiala for me is not an attacking midfielder. For me, Jamal Musiala is more of a in a 4-4-1 a forward plays just behind the striker. For me, Jamal Musiala is that sort of a player more than an attacking midfielder for me. I know he can drop deep, he can conduct play and stuff, but for me, Musiala's strength is just playing off the striker and stuff. And I think Claudio Echeverri is that kind of a profile, to be honest. Offside, the interplayer is offside over there. And but Xavi Simmons for me is I think completely different from what we have. We do not have a profile of the player in the academy or in the squad. I mean, Xavi Simmons for me reminds me of Ilkay Gundogan, to be honest. He has great vision. He can play that box to box role. He arrives in the box. His vision is excellent. For me, Xavi Simmons reminds me of KDB and Gundogan. There are flashes of KDB in him and flashes of Gundogan in him. And defensively, and his pressing is superb stuff. Savio goes past this man. That is excellent skill from Savio. Didn't get the final ball. Gautam says Yamal like Gundo. Yamal Musiala in certain bits is a bit like uh, Gundogan Gautam. But for me, Yamal Musiala is. I mean, he can play in multiple positions, but for me, his best position is behind the striker. And if you really have to compare him to someone, Yamal Musiala for me is. I mean, Yamal Musiala for me is, is exactly not like Carlos Tevez, but is almost like Steven Jovetic or Alvaro Negredo used to play. He possesses those kind of attributes, just playing in behind the striker. So we haven't had that sort of a player at City, but you could say Yamal Musiala is an upgrade on a Julian Alvarez in that position with better midfield and press resistance skills, if I have to put it even more. But Javi Simmons just looks like the real deal. I mean, Javi Simmons just looks like the player who you get him at the club and Pep improves him and takes him to the next level. That is what you get with Javi Simmons. But then here's another question for you. Uh, Gautam, if tomorrow was the Champions League semi-final or the final or whatever, a big game against Bayern Munich or Real Madrid, would you play Walker or would you play Lewis? It's based on current form. Would you play Walker or would you play Lewis if it was tomorrow? I mean, a friend of mine asked me this, and I was just thinking about it because if it was against Madrid or Bayern or a big continental team, you have to play Walker. But Pep just seems to trust Rico Lewis so much. It will be an interesting debate if Rico Lewis actually maintains his form and position. Bernardo Silva defending the corner. That's an excellent defensive header. And Jack Grealish runs with the ball. It's actually Kevin De Bruyne running with the ball. And look at Haaland make that sprint. Ah, Haaland went the other way. De Bruyne's pass. I just think De Bruyne should have kept on running, but this match has just exploded. It's going from end to end now. It's absolutely going from end to end. Inter, everyone thought would park the bus. They're doing that, but they're pressing us high as well. And Rico Lewis one on one. Savio there, City pressing in a 4-3-3 structure with Bernardo Silva leading the press and Erling Haaland just behind him. City's defensive structure is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, a lot of pundits, of course, Arsenal fans will say, but a lot of pundits are telling Arsenal have the best defense in the world and all. Maybe they do, but for me, more than having the best defense, which is like having four good centre backs and stuff, I think your defensive structure is what matters more. And I think City have the best defensive structure in the world, which means we go on an attack, but when we lose the ball, there are always paired defenders for recovery runs and stuff. I think his offside, the offside line is just fantastic from City. You're just catching the interplays offside again and again. Gautam says, I think it will be too much to ask for from Rico having to go with Walker in a semi-final. Rico still needs some experience. That's a great word, Gautam. Experience. I think that's the thing. Experience. It's because I hear a lot of people talk about Rico Lewis is not developed. I mean, he has not developed his physical attributes as much. He needs to gain some strength. He needs to be strong and all of that. But I think I think as a defender, the most important trait is experience. So I think as Rico gains experience, whether he becomes taller or not, whether he gains weight or not, I think he'll do good. Experience is what you're right. Experience is the thing because if you're a Kyle Walker and Vinicius Junior is dribbling towards you, you exactly know where he's gonna go or where do you want to show him outside, inside. What do you want to do with him? A fullback is overlapping. Vinicius Junior is dribbling towards you. What do you do? Experience tells you that. So yeah, I think you're right. Experience is what Rico Lewis needs, and that is an excellent touch from Kevin De Bruyne, Erling Haaland. Ah, the defender, I think, got a final touch on the ball and Haaland just couldn't take it. Arush is here. Hey, Arush, how are you doing? Says, hey, bro, what do you think about today's match? Arush, I think in the Champions League, what it's been 3 years since, I think it's been more than 3 years since we have lost at the Etihad Stadium in the Champions League. Yeah, last season we drew with Real Madrid and it went down to penalties, so it's a draw. So I think it's been 3-4 years since we lost in the Champions League at the Etihad Stadium, and it's been 2.5 years since we lost here in the Premier League. So I think for the last 2.5 years, no one has defeated us at the Etihad Stadium. I just think Haaland backs another hat trick today. I want him to smash Cristiano Ronaldo's Champions League record eventually. So I think that's a great run from the inter-attacker, but Edison's starting position is very, very good. What do you think about the season, Arush? The way it's actually going for us. I know we have won 4 out of 4, but in general, the tactics and not playing Phil Food until now and stuff. By the way, what do you guys think about the Foden situation? Because Phil Foden's absolutely fit, but and his training as well. But how do you get Foden into the side? That's another question. Not playing him on the wing. You have to play him centrally. How do you get him? Arush says, what do you think about Savio over Foden? I actually think there was no competition there, Arush, because Pep, for example, played Foden 45 minutes in the Community Shield on the wing, and Foden's not a good player on the wing. I mean, okay, last season De Bruyne was injured and he played centrally, and we saw what he could do. But when you put him out on the wing, I think Foden just Jack Grealish almost threaded it through. So Foden's ineffective as soon as you put him on the wing. So I think Foden's not competing with a Savio or a Grealish or a Doku or whoever on the wing. Manuel Akanji one on one. Josko Gvardiol gets back beautifully. That's very well defended. City's defense is looking very good. They're offering an attacking threat. So I actually think Foden's competition is in the midfield. Last season, 19 goals and no penalties. If people rave about Cole Palmer scoring 21 goals from the midfield or in those attacking positions and he scored 10 of them penalties, I mean, how much should people talk about Phil Foden? 19 goals, 0 penalties, 10 of them from outside the box. He's literally won you 3-4 games on his own, Phil Foden. So I think Pep has realized after last season if Foden plays, he plays in the midfield. Otherwise, don't see. I mean, Foden's wasted on the wings because again, you see, you play Foden on the left hand side, for example, and Foden's strength is cutting in, and then Josko Guardiola has to come forward, which means your entire defensive structure down that left hand side is gone. The same thing with Rico Luis Foden plays on the right hand side, cutting in. The fullback has to provide the width like Walker was doing last season when Foden played on the wings. So I think Foden on the wings is not a possibility. I think anyhow. Think in the midfield. That's what I'm thinking. KDB, Gundogan. How do you get Foden in there now? Bernardo is playing there because of Savio. What do you do? That's a big question. Arush says the season is unfolding great. Given away the ball and Inter on counter attack. It was 2v2 briefly. It's 3v2, but Rodri gets back. That's a goal kick. The defending has been superb. But it's interesting again. I cannot think of how Foden returns in the midfield because if Foden comes, I want Foden to come into the midfield and actually not anywhere else. So I actually want Foden to come in the midfield. Gautam says, I think Pep is being a bit harsh here with respect to Foden. He said Foden has to prove himself to come into the team. Foden has always stood up when needed with bangers. I mean, Gautam, last season, I mean, let us forget everything in just the last match against West Ham. Just imagine if Foden doesn't score those goals, then Kudus goes on and scores one. What would be the atmosphere at the Etihad? So I mean, last season Everton, Brentford. I mean, I can tell you literally 4 to 6 games where Foden saved our ass. Otherwise, that title was never a possibility without Phil Foden. He's being harsh. I know he's being harsh. Especially it hurts a bit if you're being harsh to someone who's trusted the process, who stayed with you, and who's not left like a Jadon Sancho and a Cole Palmer did. What a header by Haaland, but it's central and the keeper does well. So I mean, maybe Foden starts for the Arsenal game. We just don't know. It's a surprise from Pep. We don't know because KDB surely cannot play the 3 games. KDB played the entire Brentford game. Looks like KDB plays this game unless Pep substitutes KDB at half time here. Arush says, I'm just so pleased with Rico's performance. He's showing quality and telling us that he's the future when Walker's gone. But Arush, just like Gautam said, I think it's more about experience now for Rico Lewis. Experience in both the attacking front and the defensive front, more in the defensive front. The good thing is Rico Lewis has got a sharp brain and he just seems to pick up things very fast. His positional play is excellent. He's never out of position defensively, even though he ventures so much forward. It's a 4v4 at the back for us briefly, but Rodri does well. Rico Lewis, look at Rico Lewis in his defensive position. Rico Lewis one on one. That is excellent from Rico Lewis. He pushes the inter player back. Good recovery from City. And it's a corner for Inter. Inter have been the aggressive side, breaking at us. But City's defensive structure has really stood firm here. Arush, do you think there is some kind of argument between Pep and Foden? Foden never, never, Arush, never, never. His Foden will not do that. Foden's just so much more mature. Foden's, I mean, no one at City, no one in City's dressing room is of that kind of a personality. If you see, because I've heard when we try to sign players, we also check their personality and stuff. Okay, Cancelo was an exception, that's there, but in general, I think that's a big part of this. Pep's checklist when signing players. He also checks how their personality and he talks with their previous coaches and stuff. So do not think that's the case. I mean, I think Foden for me comes in Grealish position on the left hand side. But my worry is not about Phil Foden starting. My worry is about how do you get the most out of Phil Foden? How do you play to Phil Foden's strengths? That is in the midfield. So that is actually the thing. I think it's KDB, Bernardo, Gundogan, and Phil Foden for those two midfield positions. I think so. I think there will be rotation between these four players. That's what I actually feel. And also Bernardo obviously can rotate with Savio on the wing as well. But an interesting thing is about Jack Grealish playing in midfield. I mean, KDB's replacement, that is excellent from Josko Gvardiol pinching the ball. Josko Gvardiol does very well. Savino goes there. Josko Gvardiol with the run. Bernardo Silva, Ruben Diaz, Kevin De Bruyne. Great ball. Rodri. I think we have just played one pass extra. I mean, what do you think about Jack Grealish in the midfield? Because Jack Grealish for England in the midfield was very good. Jack Grealish at Aston Villa in the midfield was good. So, what do you think of Jack Grealish? I would not dare say he's a replacement for KDB and stuff, but I think Jack Grealish in the midfield would unlock most of his strengths. Because when I saw Jack Grealish, I mean, of course, highlights who watches international matches, but when I saw Jack Grealish play for England in the midfield, he was very, very good. So the system is way too complex from Pep to even comprehend and think which player plays where. That's why I think opposition managers struggle to even formulate tactics against Pep. Manuel Akanji, Rodri, Savino, back to Bernardo Silva, Bernardo back to Akanji. City is just not able to find that final ball. Kevin De Bruyne is available on the outside, has to go to De Bruyne, it does. And Savino sends it straight back to Girona. that shot. The ball just went in behind for Erling Haaland. And I think that was a chance for Savino. Whenever Savino hits something and misses, I'm just thinking, what would Riyad Mahrez do with it? That chance against Brentford, where Josko Gvardiol ran through like a striker and passed to Savino, Mahrez scores that. Mahrez scores this. That's an excellent header for Manuel Akanji. The ball spinning inside City's box and Kevin De Bruyne and the offside flag is raised. The game's threatening to burst open, but the game's actually not bursting open. And I think Bernardo was anyways offside there. It's a tough game against Inter, very tough game. Arush says really seems different today. I don't know why this season it just feels like it could be Jack Grealish breakthrough season. I mean, I know he helped us winning the treble, but I think this season could be the season where Jack Grealish expresses himself more, where Jack Grealish, plays more with his strengths. It somehow feels like that the way Jack Grealish has started this season. He started this season with more confidence than ever before, which I think is super, super, super interesting. Especially there was news last season that with the performances of Doku, Jack Grealish was even considering leaving the club and stuff. But his bench Doku at least for now because Pep started with Doku and then brought on Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish on the ball, Jack Grealish as we're talking about him. That is crisp passing. That is excellent. The combination play between Grealish and De Bruyne just seems superb. And also, I think it's interesting to note that whenever Jack Grealish has looked very good, I, I just think that there is always 2 seasons back, for example, Jack Grealish looked the absolute best 2 seasons back. We had a practice match against Bayern in the US, and Jack Grealish had Josh Wilson as friend overlapping with him. So whenever there's an overlapping or an underlapping fullback, Jack Grealish looks very good. And now there's no fullback there, but I think Kevin De Bruyne, if you see, is occupying those wide roles. He's either underlapping or overlapping Grealish, which means people are not able to, double mark or triple mark Jack Grealish because bloody Kevin De Bruyne is free. So I think that is a big, big difference. Kevin De Bruyne occupying those wider areas this season is actually what I think has sparked Jack Grealish to life. Because you see, suddenly the double marking on Jack Grealish is gone. Josko Gvardiol, Kevin De Bruyne, look at De Bruyne underlapping, and Jack Grealish there on the outside, and he's offside. Erling Haaland is looking at these offsides and thinking, I am not offside these many times in an entire season, which you all guys are offside in a game. So I think this could be the breakthrough season of Jack Grealish. I think Inter are playing for a draw here or just to nick a goal on the on the counter attack. To be honest, Gautam says this game needs a Doku. It's crying out for pace, Gautam. It's absolutely crying. Ederson is not in the goal. And the ball. It is an open goal, and Josko Gvardiol with a wonderful header. That is just prime defending from Josko Gvardiol. Look at that. Ederson was not in goal after the clearance, and then the Inter player just struck it towards an open goal, and Josko Gvardiol clears it. Wonderful defending from Josko Gvardiol. Superb. You're right, Gautam. This game needs a burst of pace. This game needs a burst of liveliness. I would even say this game needs a Phil Foden, to be honest. Arush, my heartbeat just skyrocketed. I thought that was a goal, Arush. The strike was pure. Edison was not saving it even while coming back. Josko Gvardiol is, I mean, it's so, people talk about William Saliba, people talk about Gabriel. They say that Gabriel and William Saliba are the two best centre backs in the entire league, and few Arsenal fans will say in world football as well. But Josko Gvardiol is just, Josko Gvardiol is just a baller. I think Josko Gvardiol is above both Gabriel and William Saliba, to be honest. He's so good. It's a foul on Kevin De Bruyne and it's a free kick. Great shot from Barella there, and again Josko Gvardiol blocking it. There was an interesting article actually telling that. I was just so fascinated reading it. It was that maybe RB Leipzig and Croatia have played Josko Gvardiol out of position. That's what was the title of the article in goal.com in the Athletic, I think, to be honest. That's what a save from Edison, but is offside, but a great save from Edison. Edison would not know that. Point blank saves. Edison is in top shot stopping form. Against Brentford, he saved an absolute bullet header at 1-0. And here is, that was offside, but Edison wouldn't know it. So the article said that Josko Gvardiol was played outside of position at RB Leipzig and Croatia, and left back is where his strengths lie. I just the article is fascinating read. It said how Josko Gvardiol is the strengths of Josko Gvardiol are dribbling, carrying the ball forward, going into the midfield, making the striker like runs and all. I mean, just after reading the article, you are like, this is why Pep Guardiola is Pep Guardiola. You pay 100 million for a centre back and you start playing him at left back. And last season at the beginning, a lot of us was telling why is Josko Guardiola playing at the centre at at fullback and stuff. And right now, Josko Guardiola, if you ask me, okay, he has to improve his crossing, but in all other aspects, is turned into one of the best fullbacks in world football. Isn't the top five best fullbacks, left backs in the league? Sorry, in world football, if you ask me. Arush says we are having such a good bench. When Claudio comes in, the attack is gonna the attack is gonna be mad. Lot of haters are gonna cry. They're already crying. they're already crying, Arush, with our bench. They're already crying. Imagine having to choose between that's a yellow card, but imagine having to choose between De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, and Phil Foden. You have the best attacking midfielder in the world. You have the best player in the Premier League last season, best midfielder with 19 goals. You have the best. You have the best assist maker. You have the best player in La Liga behind Jude Bellingham. Gundogan and Jude Bellingham are two of the best players in La Liga. And then you have Bernardo Silva, who's one of the most versatile footballers and one of the best in world. So suddenly you have these four players and Claudio Echeverri competing with that. That is just gonna be insane. And I think Savino is gonna be huge. Savino is gonna be absolutely huge. I don't know what you guys think about Savino's potential, but but this is a free kick from Inter, and Michel, the coach of Girona, when Savino had a failed spell at PSV, and when he came to Girona, Michel looked at him after one or two practice games, and what Michel told his sporting director at Girona was, I have not seen a better one-on-one dribbler since a long, long time, at least in the last 20 years, since I haven't seen such a good left-footed one-on-one dribbler. And you know what he said? He said Savino kills you one on one, and he said Savino is left-footed Vinicius Junior. That these are the exact words of Michel, and I think Savino's potential is higher than Vinicius Junior. At this age, Vinicius Junior was not this mature. What Savino is 1920, that's all. Vinicius Junior was nowhere mature at this age like Savino. I think Savino's potential is the sky. For me, Savino's limits could be as high as the Frank Ribery, Arjen Robben. You talk about some of the best wingers world football has ever seen. Savino one on one. Kevin De Bruyne with the pullback and no one was there. Savino there again collecting the ball and Savino to Manuel Akanji. The Inter players are just sitting back, and I think once we ah, for a moment I thought Erling Haaland scored over there. It just grazed the edge of the post. I mean, I think once we scored the first goal, I think how did it miss? I think once we scored the first goal, everything's just gonna open up. Once we score the first goal, I think everything's just gonna open up. That's a counter attack. It's a 3v3. It's even a 4v3 at the back. Kenji had to get that right, and he did it. And now there's a chance for a counter attack. Can Rodri play that pass? Erling Haaland lays it back to Bernardo. Savino get back out wide. Get back out wide. Bernardo plays it to Savino. They're trusting him on the ball so much. It's just the third or fourth game for City. Savino does exceptionally well. He slips. Jack Grealish on the inside. Kevin De Bruyne on the outside, and ah, it's a foul by Erling Haaland on the Inter defender. I mean, you look at the sequence of play and you see how happy Jack Grealish is. Jack Grealish on the inside, Kevin De Bruyne on the outside, and how happy Jack Grealish is, especially being on the inside. Suddenly from out wide, Kevin De Bruyne's crosses are just so lethal, and Erling Haaland, I think, is just trying too hard. The first goal, it's Bastoni. Inter are having a very good defensive unit, but City get the ball back, and the referee says straight tackle. Erling Haaland. Ah, Manuel Akanji there. His pace is so underrated. I mean, on the social media, I just saw a few fans discussing about how Pep won the league with Akanji with by playing Akanji and Ake for 10-15 games at centre back last season, and they were discussing how it's just impossible. I mean, they were speaking as if they don't rate Akanji and Ake. For me, Akanji is a world class centre back. I don't know why people don't rate him, but Akanji has everything that a centre back should have: pace, ability on the ball. Kevin De Bruyne in the box. Ah, Jan Sommer takes it. Jan Sommer collects it. And I think people just tend to forget because of his injury laden career in Borussia Dortmund that Manuel Akanji was what Gvardiol is now. Back then, he was a young centre back prodigy at 1920. It's just that injuries ravaged his career. I think we need to score a goal before the break. Inter have threatened more, to be honest, but it's on the counter attack, so I'm not flustered as much. Which means you're trying Erling Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne. I thought he'll pass it to Savio there. Ah, just not able to get that final pass. I mean, when you have so many good defenders just sitting back, it's actually tough to break it down now. De Bruyne on the inside, Jack Grealish on the outside, finds Kevin De Bruyne, Rodri occupying advanced positions. Manuel Akanji is on the edge of your box, which means you know how deep a line Inter are actually playing. Manuel Akanji, Ruben Diaz. Look at the spare runners for City. This is something you would not have found last season. Gvardiol, Diaz, and Akanji are the spare spare defensive runners if City lose the ball. Last season, that's Rico Lewis. That is wonderful from Rico Lewis there. Look at that turn. Look at the pomp with that turn. It sometimes reminds you of Zinedine Zidane there, turning. That's a foul by Akanji. But the way Rico Lewis went inside that box is just superb. It's just first class. Akanji just body checks him, no yellow card or stuff. Phil Foden seems very happy there on the bench. I think Foden will come. I think these sort of games needs a player to take on long range shots, because then you'll draw the team a bit more forward. Otherwise, the team will say, opponent will just go back and back and back and back. I just think Phil Foden will come on in the second half. That is excellent defending from Ruben Diaz again. We cannot concede now. Ah, good play from Inter. Good play from Inter. That is from Thuram. Liverpool tried to sign him. Just couldn't get the curl on it, but I think anyway Ederson covered it, to be honest. But Haru says Foden needs some game time. It's been too long. Bernardo said Jack Grealish there dribbling through the midfield end. I mean, I wonder, just start Jack Grealish in the midfield, and I think you'll have all of the opponent midfielders booked on yellow cards by half time. Honestly, Savio, I think Savio needs to put balls into the box. Savio needs to put more balls into the box. I think needs to try some longer range shots. Inter are actually playing very well. I mean, Foden was down with the virus, and maybe I think he's not up to his full fitness. We just do not know, to be honest. Inter are just playing. I mean, Inter are here for a draw. Rodri does extremely well. Jack Grealish, Kevin De Bruyne. Ah, in that position, I think he will look to score, but I just think a cutback to Haaland was the right option. But I just think you can't blame Kevin De Bruyne there. In that position, I think if you're Kevin De Bruyne, you want to shoot. You would not have anything else on your mind. I think there's some problem with Kevin De Bruyne. I think Ilkay Gundogan is warming up and not Phil Foden. I think Pep will substitute Kevin De Bruyne at halftime. It's not a. I think it's just a cramp or something like that. To be honest, that was an excellent sequence of play from City. I think maybe Kevin De Bruyne should have lifted it a bit, but it was a good attempt anyway. I'm liking the jersey a lot. The jersey is just very, very good. Arush says De Bruyne pulled a muscle, I guess. Yes, yes, Arush, yes. And we can't risk him before the Arsenal game just because. I mean, one thing is, King Kevin always turns up for the Arsenal games. Last season, he didn't play in both the games, I guess, but the season before, he just dismantled Arsenal. If you remember, I think Kevin De Bruyne. First leg at Emirates, I think he scored 2 goals, and then at the Etihad, I think he scored the opening goal. So it's the other way around. So I think we need King Kevin, Arsenal's nemesis. Arsenal fans are just forgetting how bad they are against us at the Etihad in general, home and away. How bad their record is. Erling Haaland's touch is very good. He has to pass it back. Just not able to get the final pass, guys. Just not able to get the final pass. And Inter are breaking. Italian teams, you know how difficult it is to. That's a great save from Edison. That's a fantastic save from Edison there. That's a great shot from the Inter striker, and the save from Edison is very good with his legs. it needed a Rodri special to beat them in the Champions League final. That's what it may need right now as well, I think. Or maybe it might need this game might need a Kovacic, I think. Just never know. This is the last kick of the game, and he sent it back to Milan. Nicola Barella sent it back to Milan, and that's the end of the first half. A half that a half that never quite blew up. A half that never quite did what it promised to do. But did we expect anything different? Inter parking the bus and City, you know, trying to break them down. But what one thing was evident is we looked more defensively secure. The defensive structure is very good because even when Inter was breaking, there were at least three defenders who were running back: Diaz, Gvardiol, and Akanji, and at times Rico Lewis. So at least there were three defenders who were making those covering runs, those recovery runs. Last season it was just Ruben Diaz was left alone to defend. Maybe it was Akanji as well. No, because Gvardiol had to offer the width. Foden on the left was coming inside. This season, the recovery runs, the spare defenders, the spare players who are not on the ball, it just, the defensive structure just looks so secure. Let us just check the scores of other teams. Celtics winning, Club Brugge Dortmund 0-0. Interesting. PSG Girona 0-0. Of course, City Inter 0-0, but interesting is PSG Girona 0-0. Imagine the meltdown. Imagine the meltdown if both Girona and City qualify. Of course, PSG have the ball, but yeah, let us look at some stats from the game, which will be interesting. Of course, we have 63% possession, but interestingly, they have more shots, 10 shots to our 8. And the expected goals, the XG is actually very similar. They have two shots on target to R1. Both the expected XG is 0.54. So there's a 0.57. So the expected XG is actually very similar for, for both the teams. So I think we have a long night here to actually break Inter down. Bayaji is here. Hey Bayaji, how are you doing? Bayaji says preview of Arsenal game. Pep shouldn't have kept KDB on for full 90 minutes last game, but Bayaji last game, I think last game it was never over. I think last game Brentford always threatened to score that second goal. So I think Pep mentioned it in the pre-match press conference as well. He wanted to remove KDB early, but Pep thought the Brentford game was never over till the final whistle. Well, Brentford were always threatening to score that second goal. We were not able to score that our third goal. So I think Pep's hand was forced. I think in the Brentford game because ideally Pep would have wanted to rest KDB after 60 minutes, call KDB off, get Foden in, and then the same for this game. But Pep's hand was forced in that Brentford game, to be honest. And yeah, you're right, Bayaji. This is just a preview for this is just a preview for the Arsenal game. I think Mikel Arteta. He trained under Pep Guardiola. He wanted to become Pep Guardiola, and Mikel Arteta is becoming Jose Mourinho now. I'm convinced Pep Guardiola, sorry, Mikel Arteta is the next Jose Mourinho. Hey, I mean, four physical defenders, tall defenders, Declan Rice, Thomas Partey. I mean, fast wingers like Gabriel Martinelli. I mean, if someone doesn't tell you who coaches this team, I think the only thing lacking is Drogba like center forward who's very physical. That's what Mourinho's teams generally have. Bayaji says, I wonder how Savio scored 10 goals last season. He was very good last season. I watched a few of Girona's games and stuff like that. I mean, I followed Girona pretty well actually last season, and Savio was outstanding. I think his longer range shooting and all is actually it's just not coming off. That is the only thing. I mean, on another day, Savio would have had two goals against Brentford easily. I mean, like Pep mentioned, Savio is still a bit shy in terms of expressing himself. So for me, I think that is the thing with Savio. I think the more he grows into the team, the more he knows players. I mean, they're already trusting him a lot with the ball. So I think the more he knows the players and stuff, he is lethal. His shots are actually lethal. At this age, Savio, I mean, when I compare Savio and Vinicius Jr. at this age, Savio is 1920, right? I mean, Savio has a better shooting technique and he's a better finisher than Vinicius Jr. So this actually tells you how good Savio is, to be honest. Bayaji says only Eddie and Gvardiol were bright points. KDB making a habit of losing possession in big games since his comeback. I think that's actually an instruction, Bayaji, because what we are seeing in this season is, I mean, last season, what we have seen is I mean, Josko Gvardiol would make that overlapping run and would come forward on the flanks, almost like a left winger. And if Foden used to play there or Grealish, they would come on the inside. But this season, we are seeing Kevin De Bruyne. Guardiola is not coming as much forward, over overlapping. Kevin De Bruyne is almost playing on that flank as a winger and stuff. I think looking at how Kevin De Bruyne is occupying those positions on the left flank, I think it's actually an instruction given by Pep Guardiola for Kevin De Bruyne to go wide and put the balls in to find Erling Haaland. Because you see, Kevin De Bruyne is not taking even 1-2 touches. He's getting the ball, he's looking for Haaland. If there's a pass, he's making it. That's all. He's not holding back. Because the previous seasons, the previous last 2 seasons, we used to build up a little bit more, small passes, get to the edge of the box, and then play Haaland in for a tap in, cut back, or whatever. This season, it's not like that. Matthews Nunes threw ball to find Erling Haaland against West Ham. Kevin De Bruyne against Ipswich Town, two through balls, and that's it. He's found Erling Haaland. So I think this season, if you look at all of the goals Haaland has scored, there's a clear instruction from Pep to De Bruyne. I think pick the ball, find Haaland. Pick the ball, find Haaland. I do not care if you lose possession. And the change in the defensive structure is interesting to enable KDB to do that, because last season Josko Guardiola would come forward, which means the recovery defenders would just be Ruben Diaz and Akanji, sometimes just Ruben Diaz. But right now, since Kevin De Bruyne is doing the role which Guardiola used to do, occupying the left flank, I actually think, I mean, there are three recovery defenders: Guardiola, Akanji, Diaz. I mean, today is a perfect example. Inter broke on us so many times, but we always had those three people back making those recovery runs. So I think it's an instruction from Pep to Kevin De Bruyne to find him, to 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 find Erling Haaland whenever possible. I mean, it will be an interesting second half. I just hope we win actually, because we need to be in the top eight in the table, and I actually think it's more tougher than a lot of us believe it to be. This is not like a normal group stage games, to be honest. I mean, it will be interesting to see if Dubrana comes on, or sorry, if Foden comes on or Gundogan comes on, because I've seen Gundogan warming up, which means he's gonna throw surprise at Arteta and start Phil Foden in that Arsenal game. The squad for that Arsenal game has just become so much unpredictable right now. And Mikel Arteta has actually told about the extent of injury to Odegaard, and it seems like Odegaard is going to be out for at least 2 3 months, 2 months at least. I mean, I also think, thinking about this game, I also think maybe Kovacic should have been more suited to this game than Rodri, for example, because Kovacic breaks the man-to-man marking stuff. He's an excellent carrier of the ball. He can take the ball and carry it to players. I mean, Rodri's play style is actually different. So I don't know what changes Pep is actually gonna make in in the second half. To be honest, be interesting. I think Savinio's had the best chances today, and he needs to improve his shooting a bit, like Bayaji mentioned. But whenever I see Savinio shoot, I mean, I think I said this before in the stream as well, but whenever I see Savinio shoot, I always think, will Riyad Mahrez score this? That is the only question. Bayaji says hazards of only Haaland scoring, then spread out among all. That's true. That's interestingly a question I've read in an article in the Athletic as well. Actually, they were discussing the same point there. You know, yes, Haaland is scoring so many goals, but is it better to spread it out? I mean, again, I mean, usually the answer is spread it out among a lot of players, but I mean, among your entire team. But then here you have a generational striker who's actually the best in the world. There has never been a more lethal striker than Erling Haaland. I think maybe Adriano, those sort of players were that lethal, but there has not never been a more lethal striker than Erling Haaland in the last 1 2 decades. So I think that is the counterpoint to that argument. When you have such a lethal striker who always outscores his XG, why do you want to spread it out too much around the team? And the thing of spreading out the goals more among your team is asking Erling Haaland to do that link up play stuff, go into the midfield where KDB runs off you, or you play 1 2 passes, or you play 1 2s with Bernardo Silva and do that. I think spreading goals among your team, uh, you know what would happen last season. Erling Haaland struggled. He won the Golden Boot, that is fine, but Erling Haaland actually struggled, and 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 one of the reasons at the core of it is Pep Guardiola asking him to do the other stuff. So I actually think spreading it out among the team, I think it just requires a different profile of a striker, I think, more than anything else. Because if you look at Real Madrid's successful seasons, to be honest, I think they're in the last 2 years, 3 years, most of their goals are in between. Vinicius Junior and okay, Bellingham was scoring last season, but season before it was Jude Bellingham. Sorry, it was Vinicius Junior and Karim Benzema who are taking most of their goals. So I think when you have a lethal striker, I think there's no problem in giving the ball to him as much as possible. Why Savio didn't pass to Gvardiol in the 22nd minute when he won the ball in midfield and made a good overlapping run. Bayaji, what I've noticed is Savio sometimes is having yes, Foden's coming for Kevin De Bruyne and Ilkay Gundogan's actually Foden's coming in from Savio and Kevin De Bruyne and Gundogan's coming in for Kevin De Bruyne. So good to see Pep bringing in the changes. Bayaji, I had actually, I think there are similarities between what Riyad Mahrez did when in the first year, Mahrez was very bad, right? And then Mahrez settled into the squad with us. I think in the first year, Mahrez would not pass as much. Mahrez would like to go on himself like he did against Leicester and stuff. I think Savio is still a bit in the Girona mindset because at Girona, Savio was the star player. And and so I think Savio is even against Brentford. What I felt was even in the stream I said probably yes Savio played well, but probably it's one of his worst performances because he was holding on to the ball too much. I'm noticing what I noticed in Mahrez when Mahrez came on in Mahrez first year to be honest. So that's what it is. I think that's one of the reasons why Savio didn't pass. I think an year with Pep, and I think Savio will just go on to another level very quickly. Because yeah, I haven't seen Riyad Mahrez settling this fast into the team, to be honest. That Savio has done. And we have to remember he's just 19. And Phil Ford and Ikai Gundogan in that KDB role. I'm interested, and I actually think Bernardo should go on that right wing, and Phil Foden will be given that central spot. I think. Be honest, let's yes, Phil Foden's given that central spot. Yes, look at it. I think from now Pep will not start Phil Foden on that wing as much. I think if Foden starting, I think it will be in that central spot. Manuela Kenji, Rico Lewis making that run, but it's gone out for a goal kick. Phil Foden's pressing aggressively. I'm very happy that Phil Foden's got into a central role. To be honest. Akanji does absolutely well. Rico Lewis, look at Rico Lewis protecting the ball. That is excellent from Rico Lewis. Never loses the ball under so much pressure. Ilkay Gundogan, switch it out to Bernardo Silva on the right hand side. Rico Lewis. Phil Foden trying his long range shot. I think that's an instruction from Pep. Pep is just clapping there. Look at it. He wasn't that far away. It's not as bad. It's a very good shot from Phil Foden. He has it in his locker. That is superb from Phil Foden there. I think we have lacked someone, attempting that long range shot to be honest. It's an inter throw, I think. It's an inter free kick, to be honest. I think Inter have come for a draw or they want to make a goal on the break and all. I can see that's in that Inzaghi wants revenge. Simon Inzaghi wants revenge, to be honest. Jack Grealish, Erling Haaland, they want us to press them more and well played over the press, but the final pass wasn't good. I think Pep knows Inter will have tired legs by the end. It's just that we need to be patient and keep chipping away at them. That is the thing. Josko Gvardiol, Bernardo Silva, Manuela Kenji, Rodri. That's a free kick for City, and Rodri's done extremely well over there. Rico Lewis, Manuela Kenji. The game needs a bit of a spark here. Phil Foden picking up the ball and trying to run, and it's a foul on Foden over there. I think the game needs some aggressiveness there, which Phil Foden is showing. Someone pick the ball up and run it the inter defenders. It's not just passing. You have to, that's why I think maybe Mateo Kovacic might just be a better fit. But Ruben Diaz, Akanji, everyone's just coming up. Ah, it's a throw in for City. That was a creative free kick, but when you have Diaz and Akanji in, I think you just need to float it up there. Inter are on the break now. Enrico Lewis, and I think that's a free kick in City's favor. That's a free kick in City's favor. I think Bernardo Silva's maybe hurt here from Matteo Darmian, but especially Jack Grealish was down with that recovery run. The Inter manager is going crazy over there, but Jack Grealish, what has happened to Jack Grealish there? Jack Grealish is down. I just hope he's not twisted anything over there. That's the only thing. Matteo Darmian with the challenge. Matteo Darmian, I remember, was with Manchester United. Ha! Jack Grealish miskicked it, and it's that's great pressing from City, and Jack Grealish just miskicked it. Ah, City have to be very. Inter are just so strong on the counter attack there. And in the half, we are not even able to get those few passes together. It's just been Inter, attacking. Rico Lewis has to make that one. Rico Lewis has to. And I don't know what Nicolo Barella has eaten or something. He's just hitting everything so wide of the mark. Rico Lewis. The ball's been gifted back to Inter, and Rodri does extremely well, to be honest. That is superb from Rodri. That is excellent defending from Rodri. That's why he's the best CDM in world football. Not one of the best, but he is the best CDM in world football right now. And the game has just started to flow like right now. Rico Lewis, Phil Foden. No one's finding Erling Haaland. That's the thing. Kevin De Bruyne was finding him in the first half, but right now no one's doing it. Jack Grealish, Ilkay Gundogan, Rodri, Bernardo Silva, Manuel Akanji, not the man who you would want to cross it into the box. Akanji gives it to Bernardo Silva. Manuel Akanji again. Rodri, Jack Grealish. Grealish loses the ball, which is very, very rare to be honest. It's it's not an inter free kick. I'm sorry, it's not an inter free kick. Pep Guardiola is disappointed. Very sorry, it's not an inter free kick. But Jack Grealish was, I mean, it was not a foul to be honest on Jack Grealish. I think, like Gautam mentioned earlier on, I think Jeremy Doku is what is needed just to ruffle some feathers in that inter defense. I think Jeremy Doku is what this game is calling out for. Jeremy Doku is what this game needs, to be honest. Haaland is just not able to get into the game in the second half. That's a great switch there. and a great take, I think by Matteo Darmian, but I think except the Celtic game, no games are having goals today. But Yasko Gvardiol 1-on-1, that's a great pass there. But Rodri, right place, right time. As always, Phil Foden, Rodri, very well done. Ikai Gundogan, Rico Lewis. Phil Foden there on the half turn. Ah, just not able to break Inter down, to be honest. Just not able to break Inter down. Pep Guardiola is just going crazy on the touchline there. Phil Foden on the half turn. I think if someone unlocks this defense, I think it has to be Phil Foden. That's a foul. That's a clear foul. I don't know why the ref doesn't give a foul over there. It's a clear foul on Gundogan. Akanji does the defending there, but that's a foul on Gundogan. I don't know why the ref doesn't give it. It's a clear foul. I mean, the game's stretching, but I think it will take a piece of exceptional skill if City have to unlock this inter defense. They're playing in a rigid 4-4-2 shape, if you see, or a 3-5-2, whatever the fuck that is. I mean, it just is showing you glimpses of Jose Mourinho's Inter when they won that Italian treble, beating the great Barcelona team. This Inter is not as good, but especially in defense, they're showing that kind of rigidity. Manuel Akanji, Rico Lewis, misplaced pass from Rico Lewis. How often do you see that? Jan Sommer is decent with ball at his feet. At one time, Bayern wanted him as a replacement. Ilkay Gundogan receiving the ball in space, which has been a rarity in this match. Bernardo Silva, Rico Lewis. No one coming into the space. I think you need someone who can anticipate and come into the space. Great cutback from Rico Lewis, to be honest. Back to Edison. It just seems City have just got a bit of control on the match right now. But Manuela Kenji and Akenji passes it out. That just sums up the day for City. Akenji passes it out. Summary of how the game's been for City. Frustration at not being able to break down Inter's defense, and Lautaro Martinez comes on. Lautaro Martinez comes on now. This will be very interesting. Zelensky goes off, Thuram goes off. So Mkhitaryan and Martinez are coming on. So it's going. So now I think Simon Inzaghi is going for it right now. Uh, let's go Gvardiol, Edison. There's still a lot of time in this match. Ilkay Gundogan, Edison with a long kick out to Rico Lewis. Back to Manuela Kenji. Kenji to Rico Lewis. Rodri, Phil Foden to Jack Grealish. This move is smooth. It's having some confidence in it. And Rico Lewis. Ah, Anurag is here. Hey Anurag, how you doing? He says Martinez, Lautaro Martinez. Yes, I know Lautaro Martinez. He's going to be scary and dangerous. We need to break this deadlock. It's just frustrating, Anurag. It's absolutely frustrating. That's a foul on Jack Grealish. Come on, ref. Matthew Darmian is a right prick. That's a foul on Jack Grealish. And yeah, he's given it. That's another foul on Grealish there. Give the card, ref. Ref, where is the card? Show the card. Anurag says very frustrating game indeed. Anurag, it will be the same with Arsenal as well. Even Arsenal, Mikel Arteta is turning into the next Jose Mourinho. He's parking the bus as well. They are just parking the bus and hitting us on the break. That's what the entire game has been. I think Foden with his left foot should take the free kick and not Gundogan. Left footed Foden should take it. I think it's a much better angle for him. And Foden indeed takes it. Ah, very frustrating game. Very frustrating game. There's only one team that wants to play football here. That's how it's been. Inter are doing absolutely nothing. Passing long ball. Grealish, Gvardiol. Ah! That was a chance. What a move. What a move. That was a chance. That should have been 1-0 City. What a move that was. That was a chance. Phil Foden should have finished it. Phil Foden should have finished it. Ah, what the hell was that? Anurag says Foden, it's not winter, it's summer. Yeah, summer shit match. Nice one, Anurag, nice one. I think on his left foot, Foden finishes it. Got a weak foot, that was the reason. But yeah, City are slowly getting chances. I mean, I still feel this is a game for Kovacic more than Rodri, I think, because you need someone to break that man-to-man marking thing, and I think Kovacic can do it. Rodri is a different kind of a player. I know defensively Rodri helps out very well, but I think maybe Pep can throw out a Kovacic for the last 10-15 minutes. I think to break this inter defense, I'm thinking, what do you need? And I think you need a ball carrier, someone who can take the ball, dribble past players and stuff. Inter are bringing up the changes. Benjamin Pavard is coming in. Lautaro Martinez with the run. That's a very good header from Rodri. I think it was Rodri there, and Bernardo Silva is carrying the ball. Rodri, Grealish. That's a corner for City. Good defending from Matteo Darmian. Very good defending from Matteo Darmian, and it's a corner for City. How many substitutes will Inter? They're again making substitutes. They're just bringing fresh pair of legs all over. I think till now 3, 4, 5, 6 Inter players have been substituted. I think. And that's is Grealish. But it was a good block by Damian, to be honest. It's a break. It's a break for Inter. And Francis goal incoming. Hopefully, it's for us. Jack Grealish. That's a foul. And I think Barella has to get a card. Barella has to get a card here. Where is the yellow card, ref? It's not giving yellow cards. It's the fourth time they fouled Jack Grealish, and the referee is not giving yellow cards at all. Anurag says Inter's haram ball is the new Inzaghi tactics. They just ball over the top and that's it. They've not done anything. It's just so frustrating to watch such a match. That too, रात पे जाग के. It's absolutely frustrating. Denzel Dumfries and Benjamin Pavard are in. We need to be a bit careful and maybe think he's going a bit for an attack there with Denzel Dumfries and Benjamin Pavard, especially Dumfries. Dumfries is not a defensive change. I think Gundogan will hit it out swinging corner right now. It's the exact same position which Foden took it, but I think Gundogan will hit it, and I think they need to be creative. Just launching the ball into the box will not help because Inter are a physically very good team. Ah, it's a goal kick. Pep Guardiola is calling someone into his side. I think it's Jack Grealish. Anurag says if Vinny got tackled like this 4 times, it's a counter attack for Inter. Diaz run, Diaz run, Diaz run. Ah, ah, that was a chance for Mkhitaryan, पर वो तो हेनरिक Mkhitaryan है, इसलिए मिस किया. It's clearly onside. That's a good ball from Barella, I think, from the midfield. And then behind Lautaro Martinez and Mkhitaryan can't get over it. Chance for Inter. I think it's the best chance of the game for both the sides. Jeremy Doku is coming in. This game needed a Jeremy Doku, like Arthur mentioned earlier on. Anurag says if Vinny got tackled like this so 4 times, ref would have given red card to both Inter players and Inzaghi too. UEFA says Hala Madrid exactly, and it's not even a single yellow card. That is just too much. Not even a bloody single yellow card. That is just too much. And Inter don't want to play. Look at them passing at the back, passing among the centre backs. खेलना ही नहीं चाहते. This is the most anti-football match I've ever seen. Wow, look at them. We need to press them, otherwise they will not play. क्योंकि long ball कहाँ खेलेंगे अगर हम उन्हें press नहीं करें तो. This Inter team is so shit and frustrating. Glad that Juventus is topping the Serie A and not Inter, to be honest. Such a frustrating team, Inter. Really hate them. अच्छा है हमने जीत लिया UCL final. It's hate it. I think Simeone's Atletico Madrid plays more positive than this. This is purely anti-football. I don't know what you think, Anurag, but this is for me. This is just purely anti-football. Rodri, Manuel Akanji, is keeping away the ball there, but yeah, Rodri does extremely well to recover. To be honest, and Inter are out of shape now. Rico has to progress the ball. Rodri, Bernardo Silva, Manuel Akanji, Ilkay Gundogan, अनुराग से शालानोग्लू hit back pass. शालानोग्लू ही back pass दे रहा है तो बाकी I don't expect anything from them. The Sarambol tactics fetch from Syria. Cholo is much better than them. Simeone is much inventive than them as well. I mean, इतना सर में दर्द आ गया अब क्या बोलूं. Foden should have honestly finished that chance. Jasko Gvardiol with the strike Kai Gundogan. Rodri. Foden should have finished that chance. And says Solo is specialized to stop quick counter attacks, but in the case of Inter, Inter it's pure आराम ball. अगर FIFA 24 में मैं park the double decker bus option select करूँ तब भी I do not think it will be this bad. This is just in recent years I don't remember watching a football match with इतना इतना frustration के साथ. This is just too much. It was against Arsenal. It was against Arsenal, both home and away. Mikel Arteta is slowly turning into Jose Mourinho. आधा तो बन गया वो. We all thought he would be someone like Pep Guardiola, but his tactics are more of Jose Mourinho right now. It's much more easier ना कुछ plan ही नहीं करना पड़ता. If you're like Jose Mourinho. But I think we must not disrespect Jose Mourinho here because this Inter ball is worse than what Jose Mourinho would do. Aru says either Grealish is coming off. And Rock says no, it's Silva. Yes, Bernardo Silva came up. And I was actually expecting Grealish to go off, but I think Grealish will not play against Arsenal. Then Bernardo Silva will play. I think. Jeremy Doku, that is wonderful there from Jeremy Doku. To be honest, I would love to see Jeremy Doku get as a penalty. And another Inter player is coming. I think 6 substitutions कर ले 6 या 7 1 2 3 4 I think 6th or 7th player is coming in. Don't even know how many substitutions are allowed right now because every season they change it. How do Inter fans watch this shit week in and week out? Just can't understand. Like Anurag mentioned, Hakim Shalanoglu, who is one of the more creative players, if he does a back pass, it's almost like Kevin De Bruyne doing back passes. Then you cannot expect any other midfielder in the world to pass forward. Anurag says people gave money for today's match in the stadium, just paid for watching one team. Usually we pay for watching two teams, but today it's a record. Exactly. You look at Inter fans when they are like, what is the shit we are watching? Erling touch to अच्छा ले लेता वो. Wonderful play from Rico Lewis. I think 82 minutes हो गया. अब तो ये back pass ही करना चाहते हैं Inter. They just don't want to do anything else. Only back pass and nothing else. And I think we need to be careful. Inter will look for that counter attack, to be honest. Manuel Akanji. Rico Lewis. Akanji. Ruben Diaz. I don't know why मुझे क्यों ऐसा लग रहा है कि ये मैच 3 घंटे से चल रहा है and it's just 82 minutes. It's so frustrating. Usually I watch cities matches and मैं सोचता हूँ इतना छोटा क्यों है सब matches, but ये match तो कुछ लंबा लग रहा है. It almost seems it's going on for 2-3 minutes. Arses, imagine traveling over 1500 kilometers from Milan to watch this shit. It's a 3v3 at the back. Please don't concede to this shit, man. Please, I'll not be able to watch this. Well taken by Edison. Lautaro Martinez, the strike. Do they even need a coach for this? Sit back and pump the ball forward and tell three of your forwards to run. I think I even feel it's an insult comparing Inzaghi's tactics to Jose Mourinho's because Mourinho had some creative tactics, two pass goal, three pass goal. Mourinho's fullbacks would sometimes come high up the pitch. ये तो बेकार है इससे ज्यादा बेकार चीज मैंने आज तक नहीं देखी इंटर का गेम एब्सोल्युटली थ्रैश एंड शिट इससे ज्यादा फुद्दू और बेकार चीज नहीं देखी मैंने दिस इज जस्ट एब्सोल्यूट शिट रॉड्री यास्को ग्वार्डियल कुछ तो शर्म करो यार इंजागी मैनुअल अकेंजी तेरे पेनल्टी बॉक्स के ऊपर आके खेल रहा है पूरा नंगा उतार के फेंक दिया अकेंजी ने तुम्हें आई मीन अकेंजी एंड ग्वार्डियल आर प्लेइंग एट द एज ऑफ इंटर्स बॉक्स जेरेमी डोकू हाँ ऑलमोस्ट डोकू तक पहुंच इंटर आर ब्रेकिंग राइट नाउ well done by Kenji there. Anurag says theory of relativity and psychoanalysis, boredom in medulla, brain struggles with neurons. दिमाग ही नहीं है ना उसके पास इंजागी के पास Rodri with his left foot. Anurag says Gen Z Champions League. Harry says this team dominated Serie A last year. That's why I'm glad. I don't follow Serie A as much, Arush, but that's why I'm glad Juventus is back. At least Juventus are more exciting than this shit. This is a chance. Why didn't you pass? Why did you take it first time, Phil? Ball was wobbling. There was no chance to hit it first time. This is a chance. I think Phil Foden needed to take a touch and playing Gundogan there. I think Sommer was already diving towards the far post. Phil Foden had the best chances today. I don't know what happened. 100 से सकेंजी के पोजीशनिंग का फायदा भी नहीं ले पा रहा इंटर पूरे आराम बॉल प्योर बस कैसे भी करके सिटी का मैच खत्म कर हो जाए exactly I mean I would take a draw and get out of this shit glad we are not in a group with Inter and have to play them home and away just take a draw and get the fuck out of here. Even the players know that. Gundogan ye dekh ke look at his expression. It's like, what the shit is this? Arush says, this is the reason. This is why we need to give Foden some more time. That is true. He's just come back. I should not be harsh on him, but Arush's frustration itna ho gaya ki I think getting a chance in itself has become so difficult. So when someone's missing a chance, I'm like, I think if KDB would have been there, we would have scored in this half, I think. Anurag says Foden forgot Gundo came back from Barca. That is also there. Gundo के आने के बाद ये पहली बार Foden खेल रहा है. Foden was down with the virus and stuff. Chance. What is that? Gundogan! That was not offside! This is the chance, guys! This is the bloody chance! Guys, this was the chance, guys! This was the chance! Maybe offside, I don't know, but Close tha. This was the chance. Gundo should be hitting the net. Gundo should be hitting the net from that. I don't care if he's offside or not. He was not offside. I think it was very close. Gundo had to hit the back of the net there. That was the chance. Pep will be very disappointed. Gundo had to hit the back of the net. It's a foul. It's a foul. Lautaro Martinez thought Inter could run freely. अनुराग says, Sommer, ये दीवार टूटी क्यों नहीं है? It is not offside by the way. क्योंकि हम बने हैं इंजागी सीमेंट से जो बड़ी बेकार है. Simone Inzaghi, bekarness की expert, the engineer's choice. It's a corner for City. हाँ, ये तो बहुत टाइम हो गया. इतना बेकार चैंपियंस लीग मैच देखने के बाद मुझे नहीं लगा. I think it's been at least 2-3 years since I felt this frustrated and worse after watching a match. Champions League. +4. +4 added time. And Raj says, Inzaghi's Rodri PTSD forced him to do this shit. Feeling sorry for him. और रेफरी भी ऐसा ही था ना. Today's referee is also shit if you ask me. So many fouls and how many yellow cards have been shown in this game? One or two. De Bruyne was bloody fouled for 3-4 times. Grealish 3-4 times. रेफरी खुद ही बोल रहा है आके पटक दो. I think the matchup is wrong. The matchup should have been Atletico Madrid versus Inter Milan. और तब भी चोलो को frustration होता. Diego Simeone would have taken out his belt and banged Inzaghi and taken a red card. That's how bad the game was. Whenever, whenever City are hitting a corner, I'm just so tense. We have conceded more chances for the opposition from corners this season, by the way. This is insane. They're asking, Haaland's asking for a penalty there. Let us see. We are check करेंगे क्या? Referee says no. Obviously, he'll say no. It's an Inter free kick. I just don't want Inter to snatch a winner in the last minute. Anurag says, याद है 2 साल पहले वाला PSG was हाँ. I think Nagelsmann था ना तब. That was that was Nagelsmann there, but that वो भी बड़ी बेकार था. That was especially the first leg. I remember. I don't know. It was in Paris or Bayern, but the first leg was just absolute shit. क्योंकि PSG Bayern we were expecting fireworks, but that first leg was absolute shit. That what a pass from Ederson there. Inzaghi shocked with that pass. This is the last chance for City. Someone come on, Grealish to Phil Foden. Pass ही नहीं दे रहा. Grealish to Phil Foden. Sorry, Grealish to Josko Gvardiol to Diaz to Manuela Kenji. Last sequence, 30 seconds बचे, close to 30 seconds. Rico Lewis, Manuela Kenji. एक शॉट, बस एक आखिरी ट्राई. What a switch. Rico Lewis, it has to go to Jeremy Doku. Yes. Ah! Chance था यार. Gundogan. Ah! What a try from Gundogan. तारीफ करना पड़ेगा. What a try from Gundogan that is, and what a cross from Doku that is. अच्छा try था. Wonderful try from Gundogan there. The run, the skill to head it. That is superb from Ilkay Gundogan there. That was the chance, guys. Very well done. इंजागी का मुंह देखो, बड़ी बेकार है. पेप पेप बोल रहा है इंजागी से, इतना बेकार चीज मैंने आज तक नहीं देखा लाइफ में. पेप is seriously telling it on Inzaghi's face. Gundogan is talking to Barella on the pitch and is asking him, कैसे खेल लेते हो यार, कैसे ट्रेनिंग करते हो, बड़ी बेकार है. What is this shit? Arus says, I don't even remember when we scored from corner last time. I think it was against Liverpool in March, and Arus, that too wasn't exactly. Yeah, it is not a typical header or something from the corner. It was the ball went to John Stones, and John Stones, poked it in with his foot or something like that. Yeah. I mean, I just tell, just get James Ward-Prowse from West Ham, and I think the league is over. The league is done because we anyway get 4 to 5 free kicks every match and 4 to 5 corners every match. Imagine James Ward-Prowse taking your corners and free kicks, and Josko Gvardiol, Haaland, Rodri, Diaz, Akanji in the box. The league is done if James Ward-Prowse would come to City. Anurag says Gundo is trying his level best. That last header was sensational. I mean, I'm unhappy with Gundo for the one before where he hit it straight at Jan Sommer. वो तो बड़ा easy chance था. I think that is one of the most easiest chances you will get. Gundo he had all the time. Maybe pace was not there on the ball. That is where I maybe could give an excuse to Gundo. But that should have been there. Phil Foden missed the chance. Or Gundogan ka last attempt, that was just sensational. There was no attempt there as well. Gundogan just ran through. That attempt in itself was very, very good from Gundogan. But this is so slow, frustrating, deadbeat football. What the fuck, Gundo? I think the first one was easier by Aji. The second one is difficult. He tried his best, and I suspect in the first one as well, pace on the ball was not there. Maybe Gundogan was expecting the goalkeeper to dive either side, because generally goalkeepers pick a side and dive there when they're defending against a close header. They gamble, but I think Foden should have put his chance. I think Foden's was the easiest one, more than the Gundo header one. I think Foden's was the easiest one. Foden should have scored there. He gets a chance in the 60th minute, mid 60th minute. But yeah, Bayaji, this is deadbeat, frustrating football. In simple words, like Anurag said, मैंने इससे ज़्यादा फुद्दू और बेकार चीज आज तक नहीं देखा. I cannot. It's just so bad. There was only one team that wanted to play football today. That's it. बहुत ही बेकार चीज थी. What was Inzaghi doing? He could have just told Pep, take a point, nil-nil draw. Pep would have told, बस मैं तो ले लेता हूँ, आने की नौबत ही नहीं है, and I'll rest my place for Arsenal. This Inter team is just so pathetic. Glad we don't have to play them at their home. Anurag says, Inzaghi, we are from Italia. Anurag says, Martinez के guest appearance was OP. साने के वक्त दिखा फिर 25 minute के he joined Inter's defense. Exactly, there were one or two moments, Anurag, there were one or two moments where I thought Lautaro Martinez could affect the game, पर वो तो affect करना चाहता था, पर इंजागी ने उसको अपना जगह पे डाल दिया. इंजागी just gave him a earful and told him, हम तो पैदा ही हुए हैं डिफेंस करने के लिए, हम तो पैदाइशी डिफेंडर है. बस जाके डिफेंड करो, अटैक करना मना है. I think Sam Allardyce would have won into the game. At least Sam Allardyce थोड़ा attacking खेलता है Inzaghi से. And if I'm telling Sam Allardyce plays attacking football, that is just such an insult to Inzaghi. Anurag says, good night, take care. By the way, how is Barca playing this season? यार बारसा तो मचा रहा है ये सीजन. बारसा is playing absolutely very good. Hansi Flick ball is rolling. But I'll actually watch tomorrow's game, tomorrow's Champions League game जो बारसा खेल रहा है. I think as the season progresses, I mean Danny Olmo was out for a while. I think with Barca it's more injuries than anything else you have to take care of. Bayaji says, stayed up for this shit. Foden just came back in none of them in goal scoring form. Simple as that. If Foden would have had more minutes, Bayaji, I think Foden to score kar leta. I think Foden would have scored that goal, that chance that he had. I think Foden had two good chances and both he would have scored. I think Foden not having the minutes, and also I think if Kevin De Bruyne would have stayed, we would have scored. If maybe Doku would have started, I mean, this is the thing, you know. Whenever Pep starts, I mean, एक और चीज गलत हो गया. I know Pep was wary of Inter's, counter attacks and stuff, but I think दो सेविन्यो को तुम निकाल रहे हो, I think it had to be Doku. I think it had to be Doku introduced. You cannot play both Grealish and Bernardo either wings play, and I think you expect to break down a defensive team. I think one of Savinho or Doku should have been on the pitch for the 90 minutes. कोई तो हो जो take on करे. Look at how Doku just changed everything. This almost reminded me of Madrid के साथ match था ना. I think second leg where we lost in penalties. मैड्रिड भी ऐसे ही डिफेंड कर रहा था and Madrid defended and Doku came and he just changed the game, completely changed the game. And Doku came now and he completely changed the game. Inter का defender देखो यार तुम. कौन है? Matteo Darmian, Denzel Dumfries और DeMarco, Bastoni. You see all of those defenders. Nicola Barella, for example, in the midfield as well. No one has pace. No one has pace. All of them are slow. Bastoni is very slow. I don't know if Skriniar played today, but all of them are just very, very slow. You needed to have one of Doku or Savio today. I think where even Pep killed the game was जब Bernardo और Grealish दोनों wings पे खेल रहे थे ना. It almost reminded me of Grealish और Mahrez खेल रहे थे 2 seasons back, for example, or इतना 2 seasons back Community Shield, if you can remember, against Liverpool. Both Mahrez and Grealish were playing on either wings and it was just absolute shit. सिर्फ बैक पास ही कर रहे थे और कुछ नहीं. I think it's the same. The moment Pep removed De Bruyne, okay, he had to remove De Bruyne, but the moment Pep removed Savinho and didn't bring in Doku, I think that was when the game was nil-nil or Inter had to nick it or we had to just score a creative goal and that's it. Against part the best teams for me, you need to have one of Doku or Savinho on the pitch at all times. Bayaji says this is alarming before Arsenal game. Bayaji says Doku much more impactful as a sub than a starter. I think Doku आज बहुत impactful होता अगर start किया तो. I think all of Inter's players are very slow. And as per the Arsenal game, Bayaji, I think we do not need to win that game. We do not, of course, this was also not a must win, but the Arsenal game, you do not need to win that game. Because last season, you remember, Arsenal took how many points from us? 4 points out of an available six from us and still lost the title. By 1 point, I think. By 1 or 2 points. So that Arsenal game for me is you cannot lose it. It's a must. It's a must not lose. It's not a must win. If we win, I think Arsenal का title race खत्म. If we win, Arsenal का title race खत्म. because Arsenal will be 5 points behind us, and the psychological effect of just losing to your nearest title rivals, it will just be a lot. The entire league will be done with that. So I think Mikel Arteta will know it's a must not lose game, because for City, whatever may be the result, Arsenal have already dropped 2 points against Brighton. So even the worst result, and it's nothing more, and it's nothing alarming for City, to be honest. So I know Arsenal will part the bus and stuff, but but it will just be a different game, I think, because of the dynamics involved over there, and because of how well Pep knows Mikel Arteta than how well Pep knows Inzaghi. I think Pep would have played Inzaghi what only twice till now, and Pep has played Arsenal how many times. Pep knows Arteta very well as well. So let's see what happens in that Arsenal game, and I think whatever happens in the Arsenal game, we must not be afraid of it, because last season, because last season when we drew with Arsenal, I think Liverpool were 2-3 points ahead, and when we draw with Liverpool, even Arsenal were 2-3 points ahead, right? From that position, we won the league. The season before, we were 10 points behind Arsenal in February or something, and still we won the league. So 4 titles in a row, six of the last seven titles, dare I say, seven of the last nine titles, seven of the last 10 titles, or whatever. So I think whatever might happen in that Arsenal game, I think we are just cool with it. We're absolutely cool with it. Bayaji says Lewis still lacks the final ball or shot resulting in goal. The positional sense of Lewis is very good, Bayaji. I think his defensive positioning is also very good. Because whenever Inter broke on the counter attack, the surprising thing is Lewis is always back. Lewis is always back defending in the right position, so his positional sense is very good. The way he arrives into the box is, I haven't seen such a thing from a fullback in a long while. Yes, Cancelo used to come into the midfield, and Elstav Zinchenko would come into the midfield, but I haven't seen a fullback in the last. I mean, I haven't seen a fullback at all. Not just the last decade at all. I haven't seen a fullback who arrives into the penalty box like a Rico Lewis does. Maybe Miguel Boetres of Girona does it. But apart from that, I haven't seen a fullback who actually does what Rico Lewis does. I think the final shot, I think once he has that final shot, the final ball, Rico Lewis will be unplayable by Edge, I think. Good that Pep is trusting in him. And with Gundogan, I don't know if you guys, if you also feel the same thing, Bayaji, but Gundogan ko, I just think on the half turn when he's receiving the ball and turning, he's losing that ball a bit. I just think Ikai Gundogan is not back to his full match fitness or full best, the best. He's fit, but he's not back to his best. Otherwise, Gundogan would have scored today. The Gundogan of 2 seasons back would have scored today. So anyway, guys, I thanks a lot for joining me in the show. And first of all, मैं प्रणाम करता हूँ all of your patience. रात भर जाग के इतना पेशेंस के साथ ये मैच देखने के लिए मैं अपने आप को भी प्रणाम करता हूँ, because this is just ultimate shit that we have seen. Hopefully we don't see a football match like this ever again. This is just ये तो कलंक है फुटबॉल के नाम पे. It was so bad today. But Bayaji says time to wrap it up. Good night, Bayaji, and thanks a lot for joining me. Thanks a lot, Gautam, Anurag, and Arush as well for joining me. It's been a pleasure having all of you in the show as well. Good night, Bayaji, and take care.